Yo, is the mic on, Mike? Into that mic on, Mike, and pour us another one. Let's do it right though, Mike. We feeling nice though, Mike. Gather round, gather round. Into that mic on, Mike. Into that mic on, Mike. Yeah, Garage Drinks with Mike. Woo!
Are you ready to start? Or?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, all right. Michael Koloi, welcome to the garage.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Not often my wifey welcomes me to my own garage, but
Oh, I'm your wife. God, it's so hard to hear you right now.
I'm not playing characters.
I know, it's a joke. Anyway, talo falava, nisa bulavanaka, malo elele,
Malolele.
kia orana, kia ora,
Kia ora.
konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
For those who don't know me, I am Nora Arti. I am Michael Koloi's wife. Please don't do that. I usually am behind the camera, helping Michael out with his podcast. I am the producer for Garage Drinks with Mike, his wife, mother of his children.
But today,
we decided to do something different because we are in level 3 lockdown at the moment. So we decided, well, we had no choice because we couldn't actually get anyone in because of level 3 lockdown, that I would interview Michael just so our listeners can get to know him a bit more. Maybe they've got some questions. Hopefully I can ask those questions because I don't know what they are. Haven't asked anyone because of our massive fan base. Which it is pretty amazing, actually, at the moment. We're pretty surprised. So, yeah, this is not my thing, okay? This is definitely Michael's thing, and I've supported him. And anyway, here we go. Michael Koloi.
this is exciting.
Is it?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I'm always sitting on that side.
Yeah, and I'm always...
Interviewing people.
Yeah.
And now
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. But now I get to know what it's like to sit on this side. Because whenever I'm sitting on that side, I'm always thinking about the person over here and how I'm supposed to be guiding them through their story.
It's a skill. And it's definitely a talent because I can't do that.
Thank
You can definitely do it, and you're doing a really good job. You've really proved to me, actually, how good you really are at it, because Michael came to me last year, August. We had this conversation. Was it last year, August?
Yeah.
You had the idea that you wanted to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, sure. How are we going to fit that in with our already busy lives and children, many children? But you said this is what you wanted to do. This is like how you want it to run, and this is what we're going to need.
Yeah.
Like, this is a pretty basic setup.
Yeah,
but
it is
wasn't
a pretty
cheap.
basic setup. No, but it always amazes
So
me.
all
Like,
sponsors welcome.
please. But when people come through, I'm always surprised at how they're like impressed with the setup.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
like, to you and me, because we know it's like, this is like bare bones of
It
like
is.
how a podcast should run.
yeah,
But if you think about it, really, like all you ever really sort of need is the bare essentials.
that's right. So what have you got here? Can you explain to our listeners, like, what have you got to make this podcast running?
I've literally just got a mic, and it was hard to try and figure out which mics to get and all the rest of it because it's a completely foreign world. I got 2 mics that are attached to 2 stands. I drilled holes into the table.
That's right. And this table here,
We got for
$90.
$90.
From a second-hand shop in Manurewa.
And it
Amazing.
came with 2 blue chairs, which were awesome, except that they squeaked.
So you had to get rid of them.
So we had to get rid of them.
That's right.
And I drilled 2 holes into the tables.
Yep.
And then screwed the stands in, which are awesome because the stands move around. They're really solid. And then the cables, XLR cables, go into here.
Yep.
Go around, come down into the amp, which is sitting on the floor.
And it's a tiny amp because if you look at lots of podcasters, they've got
have
these amazing...
Ones
I
that
don't
can
even know
take
what they are.
I think they're amps that can take like multiple XLR cords. They
Right.
can take like up to 3, 4, 5, 6 cords in.
Yeah.
But I should say first off that we originally got the wrong mics.
Yes, that's right.
Like, I got these Yeti ones because they were recommended by the guy at the store who was like, "Oh, you want to do a podcast? Oh, I give you a good mic. I give you a good mic.
And they were on special. And we were all about specials.
We're all about specials.
But they were the wrong ones.
Yeah, but they were USB ones, which couldn't go into a amp. So I was really disappointed. And so if anybody wants to buy a couple of mics that
we're selling them on a discounted price, and they're brand new. We only used them maybe 3 times for like a practice run. Once. We only used it once.
We got some mics to sell.
Yeah, we do.
And then the amp goes into the camera, and then there's like a light that's up there, and
which our daughter uses for her TikToks as well.
Doubles.
And I do.
Is used for
sometimes
Carlin's TikToks and Nora's TikToks as well. And yeah, like Nora said, we are currently in level 3 lockdown.
Yes.
So forgive the state of the fridge behind us.
Yes, because Michael and his friends, Sully, drank most of the alcohol in there, which is fine.
It's not during lockdown though.
No.
Sully was not here during lockdown.
No.
Just before lockdown. But we haven't had a chance to replenish
our fridge. That fridge there, actually, where did that fridge come from, Michael?
Fridge came from Nora's father-in-law, who lives around the corner. That's his.
Your father-in-law, my father.
Oh, sorry.
I'll be like, whoa, Nora's married to someone else.
Sorry. Nora's dad.
Nora's got 2 husbands.
No. Nora's dad, who lives around the corner.
Yeah.
This is the fridge that's from his garage.
This is kind of where the concept kind of came from, right? Because my dad, he doesn't have it anymore, but he had like a bar set up in his garage, and we would always, not we, but sometimes you, but we grew up like just having casual drinks in the garage and stuff. So do you want to talk about the concept of garage drinks with Mike and why you decided to go with that name and why you wanted it set in your garage? Well, in our garage, hopefully a garage that we own one day.
Because it's such a Kiwi concept.
Yeah.
Like originally, like when I'm traveling and stuff and I was listening to podcasts, there was nothing like in any of the New Zealand podcasts, at least, that I listened to that really sort of stood out to me as something that, I don't know, I wanted to know more about people when they were interviewing them or talking to them. I wanted to know more about them. But I always felt like the podcast or the interviewer had like a time limit. And so they wouldn't delve deeper into subjects and stuff. But I obviously didn't grow up here in New Zealand. Like, no. I've been here in New Zealand since I was 16, 17. But the concept of like having drinks in a garage and always talking is something that...
It is very Kiwi.
Yeah.
And it's, I guess it's Kiwi and like Islanders and Maldives, or I don't know about Europeans, whether they do that. But it is for us. Like, yeah. I've grown up with like a melting pot of friends from Māori to Cook Island to
Why do you
Samoan.
think that is, that it's always in a garage?
Because it's away from the family house, which
but
is
it's always in houses that are like got heaps of people in them, eh?
Yeah.
And weirdly, the garage is always the one neglected space, or like some houses do have people that actually stay in the garage.
And I think it's also got to do culturally as well. I mean, even though families do drink, they kind of hide it away. You know, and like it's but away from the family house too.
They don't want to go off property, like that.
Yeah,
you're still at home, but you're just in a garage.
Yeah, but it's always been a thing. Like for me, even as a teenager, going to parties, we had drinks in garages, and then going through my 20s, you know, after the nightclubs, we'll come back and we'll end up in someone's garage, having a few drinks before we go home, and we just talk. Like, you have the most amazing conversations with like different people. Like, I would talk to people that were twice my age or younger than me or the same age and just connect with them, because
and go into such deep subjects and talk about,
you get to know them, you get to know their life in that, which is why I like the whole concept of garage drinks with Mike.
It's really cool as well. That's why I think it's quite important to us that the garage door is always in there. But you can tell anyway, like, even though the flags are in front of it, you can tell that it's definitely a garage with sheets on the wall.
Yes. No, it's great.
I would have this any day over a studio. Do you know why? Because a studio's got like a real clean feel to it, like a sterilized feel. But when people come here, like to our garage, like they come through the front door, they come into our house, they recognize that. And that's part of like, you know, like when you go to someone's house and drink at their garage, you come to their house, you come into their space, then you come into their garage.
Yeah. Well, our garage is connected to our house.
Yeah. So I still love this, like,
But
because
regardless, it's a garage.
it's our own space, you know. And when people come here, I feel like we're welcoming them into our space. So it's got already that sort of feeling of feeling of warmth and love that we already have as a family, and it translates kind of into the relationship that goes across this table with whatever guest comes in.
Yeah, I like that. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I didn't see it that way.
Yeah, but that's sometimes I feel like that's how guests always ease up in the podcast as well.
Right.
It's because they know where they are. You know, they're not in a studio and they're not on a time schedule, and we're not going to get kicked out after an hour.
That's right.
And when you're in someone's garage as well, and someone's invited you over to their garage,
well, it's casual
you trust
too.
them as well.
Yeah, of course. Of course. So, I want to start with you, Michael, on where you were born. Where you were born, where are your ancestors from? Let's start from there. And your childhood. But let's start from where you were born.
I was born in Viola Hospital in Nuku'alofa in Tonga.
Yeah.
And I was born to a full Tongan father and a New Zealand European mother. So obviously my father's family is from Tonga. They're from two different parts of Tonga, from Ahau Tongatapu, which is the western side.
Right.
I always get my west and my east bloody mixed up. Western side of
never
Tonga.
Eat soggy wheat bix. Never eat.
Yeah, western side. And Ahau Tongatapu, and also from Lotofoa Ha'apai, which is another island group to the north of Tonga. It's like there's three main island groups. It's one of the island groups. So that's where my dad's family is from. My mother is New Zealand European, so she was born and raised in Dargaville, Northland, here in New Zealand.
Okay.
On a farm.
And where did her family come from?
I believe her family sort of originates from England.
Right.
But she is probably, if I'm right, third or fourth generation here in New Zealand.
Okay.
And so I was born in Nuku'alofa, grew up there. So my mum.
Sorry, what made your parents decide? They obviously would have met here in New Zealand, and then went back to Tonga. What made them go back to Tonga and decide to have children there?
Yeah, it's quite a big move for like an interracial couple at that time.
Yeah,
to do that
I
sort
can
of
imagine.
Thing. This was in the late 70s, early 80s, or was it? Late 70s. So at the time, like my dad was here in New Zealand doing his degree in civil engineering.
Wow.
And it was close around the time of the Dawn
That's
raids.
pretty impressive for a he's not even born in New Zealand to be doing engineering.
He was
like
very bright, especially with his mathematics and science.
That's okay. Were his siblings like that? Sorry, we're going a bit off track, but I just want to know.
Are my siblings like that?
No, your dad's siblings. Did he come from a family where...
his younger sister was a school teacher.
Right.
Yes and no. Like, I guess they chose more what they wanted to do.
Okay.
And so he obviously did really well in mathematics and science.
Okay.
So
he chose engineering.
Civil engineering.
Civil
Engineering.
Right.
Which is to do more with, I believe, like pipes, water. I'm an artist. So
How did that happen? How did he not give birth, but
father me?
Offspring. Anyway.
Well, I'm good at different things. Anyway.
Yes, you are. You are.
Anyway, so he met my mother at university here in Auckland, and they ended up getting together. And then he graduated, and it was time for him to find a job.
Yeah.
Now, it was quite different in those times for an interracial relationship to happen, especially with Pacific Islanders, because this is sort of just past the era of the Dawn raids when Pacific Islanders were shunned and being sent back to the islands.
Right.
So not many Europeans were with Pacific Islanders. And my mum will tell me a lot of times I'd get stopped around Grey Lynn, getting papers checked, checking his papers.
Sorry, what did your mother's parents think of her relationship with your father?
Amazingly maybe I shouldn't say amazingly, but her mother was loved him, like took him in straight in. But if you think about it, like, so my mother's older sister, right, was had just recently gotten married to a Māori.
Right.
Was a bus driver, so she was quite comfortable with the idea of brown people in her. Yeah, and she had like 4 daughters, so she never had, I don't believe, ever had like a racial view that a lot of white New Zealanders had at the time. She was much more accepting, and my father did heaps to help her around her house, like painted her roof, did heaps around, and so she really grew to love him as a son.
Okay,
anyway,
that's good.
So after he finished university and he was trying to find a job, I remember him saying that sometimes when he got the interview over the phone, but as soon as he stepped into the room, he lost the job. You know what that means, eh?
Yeah, of course.
The moment they saw him turn up, he didn't have a chance.
But what was his name? Felipe
Koloi.
Koloi.
Yeah.
That almost could be French, or you know what I mean?
Possibly, yeah.
Crazy.
Anyway,
French.
so he applied for a job back in Tonga while he was here in New Zealand. They offered him the position to go back and manage the Tonga Water Board,
Right.
which is quite a high position, especially in Tonga. And so they were just like, you know what, stuff it. Later New Zealand, and left. And the two of them went over there.
So our camera died.
Yeah. Something that I'm very used to.
Something that you are very used to, and unfortunately I can't be in the room or a cameraman to help you.
It's alright.
But we work with it. We roll with it.
Say bear.
Say bear. So we left off about your father and your mother's decision to... He got offered a job.
In Tonga. So they left New Zealand.
Yeah.
They went to Tonga. And that's where we were all born. Yeah.
We? Who's we?
Me and my 4
siblings.
4 siblings.
And you are... Where are you? The middle child.
Number 2. Second eldest.
Same. Which explains a lot, eh?
Does it?
Yeah, kind of.
What does it explain?
I don't want to say the black sheep because you don't like that, but just...
black sheep?
Well, in your last podcast you had with Raina, she talked about being the black sheep.
Yeah, she did.
And you said you don't like that.
Oh, because I felt like when she was saying black sheep, it was like kind of putting herself down.
But you refer to yourself as a black sheep a lot. Well, I've noticed that. Because
Raina hasn't done half the shit that I've done.
I will get to that shortly.
No, but Raina was saying it in the context of being different.
Yeah, well, you are very different to your siblings.
I'm very different, but
and
I'm
I
also
know that.
like, I'm not squeaky clean for starters.
Well, I know that. But I married you.
You see what I mean? Like,
yeah.
See, mine's more like black sheep, whereas hers, I told her, you're like an orange sheep, like just a different sheep.
I see. Okay, maybe
I guess sometimes
I thought I was a black sheep too, but
right.
I guess I'm a purple sheep. Not
you're a purple
squeaky
sheep,
clean, but still okay.
Yeah, but hey, anyway, we're all different coloured sheep.
We are. Anyway,
that are just
let's
trying
talk
to find
back.
our own ways through the world.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, so there's 4 of you, and you are the second eldest. 5 of you. Okay, so there is your older sister.
Yeah.
There is yourself. There is younger sister Emma, and then younger brother Thomas, who's about to get married, and then your younger brother, who you have spoken about in your previous podcast, who is Viliami and is adopted. Interesting. Did you want to talk about that, or do you want to talk about your childhood in Tonga?
Talk about... Sorry, what's the first option? Talk about what?
Do you want to talk about your siblings or do you... God, I'm not good at this.
It's fine.
Damn it.
You're fine.
Or do you want to talk about your upbringing?
I can talk about whatever you want me to talk about.
Let's talk about... You know
you're
what?
The host.
I'm the host,
so
and I don't do this stuff, guys.
Well, you tell me what you...
I got thrown in the deep end here because it's level 3.
Cheers to level 3.
Cheers to level 3. Are our kids in their cages?
I hope so.
We're joking. They're in bed. Look, talk about your childhood. What do you remember about your childhood?
Everything.
Was it a good childhood? It must have been a good childhood if you remember everything. I heard psychology.
Where children shut out trauma as they get
Well,
older.
they just shut out their childhood
Yeah.
because they don't want to remember it. But you remember everything, so it must have been an amazing childhood. Tell me about it.
Firstly, for starters, when you live in Tonga, you live in kind of like a third world country. You're on a Pacific island, so there's always something to do. You're never bored. The people that are around you that you go to school with, they kind of become your family, and also your family itself is really close.
Yeah. And you're living such a simple life.
Yeah, this is also back in the 1990s, early 1990s. Life is much different. It's much simpler. There's not the technology that we have today. You're on an island, so you're always close to the water.
Yeah.
On the weekends, guys normally go to the bush with their fathers and work. But yeah, you have such a colourful life. You find entertainment in some of the simplest things. Like during guava season, you're climbing guava trees. During mango season, you're climbing like your neighbour's mango trees, stealing mangoes. Sitting on the roof at nighttime with your mates. It's safer as well. There's fist fights and stuff. There's violence that happens, but it's a different sort of violence. It's just controlled, I guess. It's more fist fights rather than not shooting. I'm saying all this now because Tonga has changed so much in the last 20-25 years.
How so?
Now methamphetamine is a massive problem. It wasn't when I was growing up there. It wasn't in existence there. I didn't know anything about it in the 1990s. It's very, very different over there. There's the violence is different. There's a lot of weapons that are held now, guns. It's a different Tonga to the Tonga that I grew up in.
But your childhood, there was nothing like that.
My childhood was nothing like that. My childhood was like I had hidings and stuff.
Yes.
Teachers would smack at school.
Right.
I had a lot of injuries as well. I split my head open. I split my leg open.
That's a child that's lived, you know. Yeah.
But no, I really did enjoy my childhood.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you talk about what primary school you went to?
Sure. I went to GPS Koloi, which is it's sort of just past the King's Palace, and on one side of the road is the primary school. The other side of the road is the ocean.
Oh yes.
And so at lunchtime when it's low tide, sometimes kids would go and get like lomu or tepupulu. I think in English that's like sea cucumbers, and you can eat the insides of them.
Right.
Some kids would just take a nail, poke it, gut it.
Right.
Also, I found this out. This is a nice little story for you. You probably
I think
didn't
you've
know
told
about
me
your
this
husband.
one.
I have?
Yeah. But please, our listeners want to know.
So when kids have accidents,
Of
they're
course
like
they do in primary school. 4
or 5 years old and they're in class 1.
Were you 6?
I was actually the youngest. I was 4. I was still 4.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You have to explain why after this.
The teacher takes you to the other side of the road, and she's hoping that it's a high tide. And she tells you to walk. Boy, you better walk.
Right.
And cleanse your sins. Or basically, like, if you've done like a number 2 in your pants, they make you walk through the water to like, because they don't want to touch that and clean that.
I don't want to touch that.
And yeah, that happened to me.
Right.
But like I think some kids did it like out of fear of having to ask to go to the toilets. Because you're scared of your teachers, man. Like teachers can be scary.
That's not good though.
Hey?
Right? Being afraid of your teachers.
Of course not. But that's part of growing up. You know, like
Okay.
that's part of growing up in Tonga.
Okay.
But yeah.
Right.
And I had a teacher that would like I'd average like 1 smack a day. I was the naughty kid, but I would average like
what
1
would
whack
you
a
do
day.
that was so naughty?
I'd bring sand into the classroom. I would eat my food inside the class. I would fight inside the class. I would, but even things just like not starting a sentence with a capital letter or not finishing a sentence with a full stop. Like I'd always average at least 1 smack a day.
Damn. So can you explain why you started school at the age of 4? Because normally it's 5, right?
Normally it's 5. The
'Cause it's
year
5
that
here in
I
New Zealand.
started, the year that I started though, there was a princess that was going to start school, and she was turning 5 quite late in the year. So the government said, just for this year, all 4-year-olds can start school this year, so the princess could start.
Wow.
That's why I started school at 4.
To be a princess, eh?
Well, the royal family is a massive thing in Tonga. Like Tonga's been a monarchy since forever. It's never been colonized, and it's always held its own.
Really? Sorry, carry on.
What do you mean, really?
Just a lot of the concepts of that monarchy is colonial. So it's like
In what
how,
way?
well, I mean, the way that a monarchy is set up, it's similar to the royal family. I mean, they do have that, you know, back in the day, I think. I don't know enough. Let's not talk about that.
I love hearing this from you because I know all this stuff, like the way they dress and everything.
Yeah, and also like making the men wear shirts and not be topless. Like,
yeah, well, that goes to a whole Christian belief.
That's right.
I think. However, that's another whole story about colonialism.
Let's not talk about that. You talk about that a lot in your other podcasts, so let's stay away from that in this one because I get really heated about that. Sorry?
How do you know that people haven't seen?
Please watch the other podcasts. Okay?
I love this host.
Because that's why I'm not a host, because I have no filter. So, how did you find growing up being it's Afakasi in Samoan. What is it, Tonga?
Hafekasi.
Hafakasi. Hafekasi.
Yeah.
Did you find it hard?
Yeah. Yes and no. Like, it's got its advantages and disadvantages. Like, I'd be teased about it a lot.
Yeah.
Because I was minority, to be fair-skinned. But then, like, in a weird way, I'd be looked up to a lot and kind of wrongfully elevated.
Right.
Like, when we're having, like, family lunches and stuff, I always felt like they gave me and my siblings, like, priority to eat and stuff and give us, like, better seats because we're half-caste. Now, this is a thing that goes back in the psychology of the Pacific. I know in Tonga it exists. So I can't really speak for the rest of the Pacific. But the idea that Balangis are more elevated, right?
Oh yeah, I guess that. Yeah, that's the same in Samoa as well.
Yeah.
Like,
and so
in a way,
it was interesting to me to be raised like that. So I saw it as sort of both pros and cons. Like then when I come over here to New Zealand, it's the other side of it. It's seen by the white people as being brown, as a brown.
Oh yeah, you're just thrown in the brown pot.
Yeah,
you're in that category. You're not. Yeah.
But growing up in Tonga, being half caste is definitely different. It's a minority, but it has sort of different privileges that come with it, and you don't ask for those privileges.
No.
So it's kind of weird to grow up with them,
right?
And then to get older and then look back and understand like how kind of wrong that is, and how the concept of it is comes from such a wrong origin. You know, that we see people that have lighter skin tone, and because they might have a part European or anything to do with being Caucasian, that should elevate them in some way.
Oh no, it's even in the Samoan culture, it's the same.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm the darkest of my siblings. My older sister very much looks like my dad, who's very fair, and I take after my mother. But I would see my older sister be treated so much more different than I was. Yeah.
Just
crazy.
Because she's fairer.
Just because she's fairer. Like,
so that
people
dates back to the same thing, right?
Definitely. They would consider her more beautiful, more intelligent. But she wasn't. Sorry. Love you, sis. Okay. Right. So it was a mix. There were some privileges there, and it was also very hard.
Not very hard, but just it was just different. Like, it was just there were challenges to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after primary,
you
have very fond memories, except getting smacks daily for little things, which I just think is stupid. You just being a kid. Geez, our kids would have so many smacks a day.
I think they need it sometimes.
See, this is why we're so different at parenting. But we have the same value with our parenting, which is why it makes we run well as a team. So primary, you went to what, intermediate, or do you go straight to high school? How does it work in Tonga?
Unless you're a Mormon, you didn't go to intermediate, so you go straight from primary school.
So what are you? What religion are you?
Me?
In Tonga?
I'm
I know
Anglican.
what you're Anglican. Okay, so
most of Tonga's, I think 90% of Tonga is Christian, but then the Christian breaks down into different categories.
Yeah.
Of like Mormon, Wesleyan,
Anglican.
Catholic,
Do you have
Anglican.
Presbyterian?
No, no.
Catholic,
Methodist,
Seven-day,
Seventh-day Adventist,
Baha'i.
Baha'i.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
but not Presbyterian. I don't think. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So you go straight from primary school to
Yeah.
high school,
To high school.
and your last year at primary school, everyone across the whole of Tonga sits an exam, which determines
what high
which
school you go to.
college they go to.
And that's what I find interesting about Tonga is that your colleges are from really what level of academic. See, I can't even say it properly. You are. Like, how clever you are, you get put in that college, right?
Depending.
See, because in Samoa,
Because
it's
also
dependent on what village you're in.
Right. Oh, right.
So you usually go to the college. Why did I say college? What's wrong with me? I've had too many wines.
Maybe not enough.
Not enough. Can you edit out how much I drink in this podcast?
No, that's the whole point of the podcast. It's unfiltered, free conversation.
Okay.
Cheers.
Anyway, okay. That's interesting. Please explain that, because I always found that interesting, because I would not have made it to Tonga.
Okay, so it's like this. It's like this.
What's the lowest level of high school? That would have been my one.
No, I very much doubt that.
I think
However,
so.
it's like
Anyway.
this. So when you're in class 6, that's the last year of primary school,
Right.
you get to write down, before you go into the exam, 3 choices. Number 1,
sorry,
number
yeah,
2,
no.
number 3
Yep. Okay.
of where you want to go.
Right.
Choice number 1 is obviously your preferred option. Number 2 is if you can't get into number 1, hopefully you go to number 2. If you can't get into number 1 or number 2, you go to number 3.
Right.
Now, people don't necessarily choose that
Right.
in order of like academic preference.
Okay.
So people sometimes put Tonga High School as option 1, but if they're Catholic, they might put the Catholic college as their second option.
Oh, I see.
And then they might
Okay.
put like another option as their third option.
Right.
Or if they're really strongly devoutly into like Mormon,
Hmm.
they don't want their kids to go to like
Any of those.
government school. Liahona High School is the Mormon college. That would be their number 1
Right.
option. So it goes like either by academic or by
choice.
religious
Right.
choice,
Which is
depending
important.
on your parents and what they want you to choose.
Right. Pardon me. Yep.
Kind of a dumb system, and I'm just going to say it out loud
Okay.
because I don't know why we should all be categorized into, going into academic stuff at such an early age.
Oh, they actually do it in New Zealand too.
No, but
When you
that's-
talked about that, because
yeah.
you do that in New Zealand as well. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but when you
But you have to be zoned, don't you? Here
yeah,
in New
you
Zealand.
do. But
Yeah.
I mean, once you go to that high school, when you enter, it was third form when I was at high school, which is year 9 now.
They
You
classify
sit an exam, and they kind of classify which classroom you're in,
Okay.
because you have core classes from year third form, fourth form, which is year 9, year 10. I don't know. I'm sure it's still the
Okay.
same. And they kind of put, okay, these kids, accelerant kids, can be in the same core class, and then it goes down.
Right.
I think. I'm
Yeah,
so sure,
yeah.
because for some reason I was in an accelerant class. I don't know how the hell I got there, but I was. Maybe they like randomly select.
Well, I know that in
Cabbage
high
kids.
school, in Tonga, like once
Yeah.
you're in like Form 1, it's a mixture in every class.
Yeah, because you guys are the top of the top, right? So you would be all just mixed together.
But within the top of the top, there's still top and bottom. So you still could like chuck it down. It's just like Auckland Grammar. Auckland Grammar, even though it's top of the top,
Right.
they still have like year 13A, year 13B, year 13C,
Right.
and they classify them all the way down.
Okay.
That's the one I heard from friends that used to go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, yep. Talk to me
Asians
about.
always be in 13A, just completely Asian.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
They probably play extra as well, do you think? Like, just to be in that top tier? Like,
I don't know.
would.
And I don't want to say anything about like that. Like Auckland
No, I'm
Grammar.
not saying. Oh,
Where,
yeah. We
Nora,
don't know.
where do you want your son to go to school?
Oh, yeah. Auckland
Shut
Grammar.
yourself in the foot.
Which is a great school. And hopefully those scholarships we're applying for are successful, because my son has so much potential. Anyway, so, okay, you obviously got into Tonga High, which is considered
In Tonga
What
High
would you
School,
call
it's
it?
considered like the
the.
best high school in Tonga.
Okay, all right. Talk to me about your high school years.
It was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Did you have many girlfriends?
Had a few.
Wow,
Yeah.
I was ugly. I had no boyfriends in
Really?
high school. Nah, none.
In high school?
Mm-mm.
For real?
No, but then I found out that, I don't know if it's true, but my cousins, I had guy cousins, They kind of protected me in a way.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Well, I missed out. I was the girl that was just like, nobody go near her.
Oh right, because of your cousins.
Well, I think it's my cousins, or I was just really ugly. I hope it's my cousins. Anyway, talk to me about your high school. Talk to me about Tonga High.
I enjoy being in Tonga High. When I first started, I don't think I was ever sort of really talented at anything or good at anything.
Right.
And I think I had a.
But you were good at everything, right? Like
I ended up evolving and like.
You like Japanese. You had a goal to be. You had a goal to be a Japanese teacher and marry a Japanese girl, and moved to Japan or.
Nah, lived in Tonga.
Lived in Tonga. Oh wow, what Japanese girl would do that? You never know. There might be some out there.
Sure, there's a few.
Yeah. So okay, talk to me about that.
But like when I was starting out from Tonga, I didn't think I had much talent, and I was always I was very, very small, very skinny. I didn't have much confidence.
Total opposite to what your boys are now. Your boys are units.
Yeah.
Which you always talk about how you wish you had their physique.
Yeah, because at that age I did not have the physique that my son has.
Yeah.
And I always sort of felt quite insecure because like I'm a half caste kid that's real skinny growing up in Tonga. Tonga, if you didn't know, is the land of the giants. Natural born giants, just big boned people.
That's so interesting. I find that really interesting because I have 2 birth children that are Tongan, and they were heavy when they were born. And like even my family find it interesting because we were all quite light, quite small when we were born. So when my mom found out I had 9-pounder and 10-pounder, she was like, "What the hell? That's that Tongan side." Anyway, carry on. Land of the giants.
Yeah. So all the guys around me in my year and stuff, we were naturally just bigger.
Yeah. Were they faster than you at sports?
Everything.
Right.
Everything. Stronger, more powerful, faster.
Yeah.
Smarter.
That's amazing.
Everything.
Okay.
Literally gifted.
So you found. Whoa. That's your ancestors talking to you. That's the Tongan flag that went down. Are you okay? Yeah. So the Tongan flag just went down along with our guitar that we can't play.
Just relax, cuz.
Just relax. Tongan ancestors. He's not talking bad about himself. He's just telling.
Just gotta straighten that up.
Yeah, can you fix that? Just keep talking. So we were talking about while he fixes his Tongan flag that he has so much pride in. This flag is centuries, like so old, and it's been actually that flag, Michael, went with you in the last 20k of your 100k run, didn't it? Because I had to deliver it to you. Amazing. And you were just ironing that before we started this podcast.
I always iron the flag.
You do. You have a lot of pride.
No, I do.
Well,
but I don't like it to look bad.
No, of
like
course,
if I had my way,
not.
I would iron the sheet behind me.
Yeah, we could, but it's too massive, and we've already drilled it into the walls that are not ours because we don't own this house. But we will own a house one day, won't we?
We will.
Just maybe a few years, but your flag's up there.
Right next to my medal.
Right next to
and your medals.
Yeah. High achiever. You're a high achiever. Those medals tell me. So tell me, what are things that you have achieved in Tonga High that you were proud of?
I was head boy.
Head boy. That's a big thing. That is massive. Especially if you're a head boy of like the top high school in Tonga.
Yeah.
What were the responsibilities that came with being a head boy at Tonga? What did it take to be a head boy? Like, did you have to apply? Did you have to have good grades? You get chosen.
You're chosen.
Wow.
You're chosen. It's a
So what did you have to prove to be chosen?
A lot of things. That you're responsible, that you can lead.
Right. Which you are. You're a natural born leader.
Yeah, but like I was saying before, like throughout all my years in Tonga High, I was always the youngest. in the year.
That's right, you were.
I was always like the youngest in the year. So by the time I got to sixth form, because that's the end of high school, I had just turned. I was still 15. I hadn't even turned 16 yet. And there are guys in sixth form that are repeating or doing it for the third time.
Right.
So there's like 17, 18-year-olds that you're in charge of all of a sudden, and you're 15, and you're a runt, and you're small, you're skinny. You have to be a leader.
Right.
You have to like pick up your balls.
So it's kind of a blessing in disguise, you being smaller. Do you know what I mean? You kind of had to prove something.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so those struggles made you a better leader, a better...
Well, you learn about the value of people's respect.
Right.
And what respect really means and how you get respect. Because true leaders, I think, don't lead out of making people scared or fearful of them.
Right.
They lead by
They're
having
projecting
people
their own
respect
insecurities
them.
anyway.
Yeah, but being a leader as well isn't
really
just
do a
about
good
you
job.
leading. It's about making people understand that you're working at something together, not just as you leading and people following.
Of course.
That
Of course, it's having that understanding with who you are leading instead of just, I'm the boss. Do as 100%. I say.
Yeah. So when you're doing that at 15, it starts to build like life lessons in your head. And also like I think a big event that happened was when my father died when I was 10. And so that changed a lot of things as well. And I was the oldest son. And so I naturally kind of felt just stuff fall onto my shoulders. And that sort of like start to step up my responsibility. And so by the time I was 15 and
you were happy though with doing that? You weren't just doing it for the sake of doing it because of that?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Well, I mean, you talked about your losing your father at the age of 10 and having the you know, you wanting to step up and you doing that. Did you feel good doing it, or you just did it because you felt like you had to?
You don't have a choice.
Right.
Like I think like if it happened to you, you wouldn't feel like you have a choice.
Okay.
You just have to do it. You have to like step up and help out.
Right.
And take on extra responsibilities and.
Right.
It's just something you do.
Okay.
And that sort of started me, and I guess it grew me up faster. I started growing up quicker, taking on responsibility faster, and
having a job as well, which you had a job to help support your family as well.
When I was 14, in the school holidays, lifting sacks of sugar, sacks of flour, frozen boxes of meat to customers' cars. It was at a supermarket in Tonga. Right. And I was skinny and stuff, but not many other kids in my class or my year would like work in such a public job in school holidays. So it was always a bit weird to see them come through the supermarket. Yeah. Because the only sort of work that they did would be like at their own homes or like in their own plantations, but never like, no one would have a job at like 14. Maybe they do now, but it was quite different back then. But I got used to it.
Did your mother encourage you to get that job, or you just decided yourself, I'm going to get this job? And
both. I really wanted to.
Back?
And so she helped me. She walked around door knocking with me.
Oh, right. Okay.
And yeah. And so I ended up with this little job, just packaging groceries. And
did you have any dreams while you were doing that on what you wanted to do, like at that time?
I had experiences when I was doing that job of like other Tongans that were like in more senior positions in the store, like berating me.
That's
that's
such an Islander thing, which is
and like being really abusive and stuff, like real toxic.
Yeah.
And I could tell that it wasn't.
That shit pisses me off. Sorry, but carry on.
It wasn't so much about me or what I was doing. It was about them, like the sort of show of power in front of other people. And it's a show of power when you can humiliate someone else in front of other people. And that'd make me feel like
they just look like
and then the next day, I knew that I'd regret it because I'd be like, oh, I'll buy you lunch. Or try to be real nice to me. And I'd just be like, nah. But it feeds a fire. Because I'd be like, you know what? One day, I'm going to fucking go away from here and I'm going to be way more than you've ever done in your life. It really did. Like, that sounds probably kind of mean. And probably quite aggressive.
That's a good push. That's a good motivational thing to happen.
But I've always had that like inside of me.
Yeah.
That voice of like whenever I felt like I've been pushed down or I've been suppressed or people
Not
have tried
treated
to.
the way you deserve, or anyone should be treated.
Yeah.
Like,
But I've always had that like feed me inside and go like, you know what, fine, man. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you.
right,
I've always had that, and that would be like a driver for me.
right.
Yeah.
I can see how that drive has pushed you to doing so many more amazing things now. Many, many, many years after that.
Yeah. Well, it's lucky I've still got it.
Yeah. Did you get that from anyone? Did you get that from your mother? Did you get that from your father? Did you have any role models at the time where you think you may have gotten this drive from, or is it just something that you have?
I think I got it from both my parents in different ways. My father's
Right.
always been quite an individual thinker, free thinker,
Yeah.
and quite a kind of a leader in his own right. While he was manager of the water board, he was also like a minister as well on the weekends. So he was used to like talking in front of people, and he was used to like leading people at his work as well.
Okay.
My mother really taught me about sort of ferocity when my father died, and she was a solo mum with 5 kids in a foreign country.
That's amazing.
And decided to
you guys
stay.
were all still very quite young.
Yeah. And
When
but
that had
decided to
happened.
stay. Like she had the
And
option
why
to,
did she decide to stay?
because she thought it was more important for us children to stay amongst surroundings that we knew and stuff, and grow up a bit more longer in those surroundings,
It's so selfless.
rather than all of a sudden throwing us into New Zealand. And she thought New Zealand would be quite a harsh environment for children that are raised in Tonga.
Tonga.
Quite a big culture shock.
Which it was for you, but we'll get to that later. Okay.
So I think I get it from both of them.
Both. Okay. Right. So you went through high school. You achieved things. You learned a lot. You grew up a lot faster, as you mentioned before.
Yeah.
I wanted to know. There was something actually I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
It had something to do. I spy with my little eye. Oh, it's gone. I had it in my mind, but I've completely lost it.
You know, I gotta say, you're doing really good at this.
Well, I definitely do not ever want to be a podcast host
Really?
of any kind. No, there's no way.
I just use my own curiosity. You just use like your natural questions that you're curious about. You listen to people's stories, and it just drives it along.
Right. Okay. See, now I'm lost.
Oh, okay. Well, there was heaps of things that affected me and didn't affect me when I was growing up in Tonga. But
Yes.
all in all, like I really enjoyed it, and it taught me a lot.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot about growing up in an island.
Right.
And also, this is something else as well that you probably, I don't know whether you get it here in New Zealand or not, but when you grow up like on a Pacific island and you go through all your high school years together, naturally, because it's just a Pacific island, people break off after 6th or 7th form now, and they go around the world and they continue their education and stuff.
Which a lot of your classmates did.
Yeah, but the bond that you have from being at high school together and going through those years stays with you, and you stay together in touch. Especially, and social media helps that, of course.
Yeah.
But even if there was no social media, every time we'd see each other in public or stuff, it'd be like seeing a brother or sister.
I know that, and I think I find it so amazing because obviously I'm married to you, and we've been to a few reunions so far, and you guys just pick up from where you left off, like, and you all still have that love and support for each other. It's definitely not like that in New Zealand.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I mean, for me, it's like you have your friends, your set of friends, and then sometimes you stay together, sometimes you drift apart. And me and my friends, we've stayed together afterwards, after high school. But no, we're not so much like that in New Zealand. So that's a beautiful thing.
I think it's because life is so much simpler over there.
Yeah.
And so when you see each other at school and stuff, like in high school,
Yeah.
like we'd tease each other and stuff, and there'd be like fights and stuff.
Yeah.
But the bond is so unique.
Well, you have that though. But it's amazing how you keep that afterwards, because you have that. I remember having that with my classmates. You know, we'd go on camps together, and we had that close bond.
Yeah,
but actually,
because
like, once
always
you leave, you're like, okay, see ya. Like, it's like it's a sad thing. You're like, bye. Oh, let's keep in touch. Give me your @name at Gmail, your MSN in my day. And you never do.
The other thing I think that contributes to it is like when you grow up in a high school in Tonga, like high schools and colleges that people go to means so much to them. It's a part of being loyal, and people identify
People
with it.
get that tattooed on them, don't they?
A lot. So
it's
when you normally,
is it a Tongan thing? I don't mean to be sad because my brother-in-law.
I don't know.
really,
I suspect
he went to
Nando.
St. Paul's and he's so loyal to that
Yeah.
school.
It might be a Pacific thing. I
Something-
suspect
maybe
that
it
like
is a
Avele
Pacific thing.
College and stuff be the same thing. That
I
loyalty.
didn't go to like a real Pacific school. I
Yeah.
went to like
Yeah.
a school where we were like 1%,
Yeah.
and I had like friends, and we were all like Indian, Fijian, Tongan, Maori. So I don't know what that's like. So I could be wrong.
Yeah, no.
Sorry,
But even
it-
now, when I meet other Tongans that grew up in Tonga, I went to school in Tonga. Probably the first
Right.
question I ask them is, "What school did you go to?"
Yeah.
That's the first thing people want to know about each other, cause
Yeah.
and it sort of categorizes people, puts
Actually,
them
you
in
know,
boxes.
Samoa was very much like
but
that
it's
too.
quite an identity thing as well. And once,
Yeah.
like, if I meet someone else who's gone to Tonga High, my next question is like, "What year?" Because then it's like it's automatically connecting.
Mm.
But yeah, people are fiercely loyal as it is for their own schools,
Yeah.
and so that helps contribute to like your classmates and that bond that you have once you leave the school.
And it's a beautiful bond. I see it now. It's amazing.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, like when you think about, I think about like in my year,
Yeah.
relationships and stuff that have happened
Yeah.
over
yeah.
the years, and
Yeah.
this being together and separated, and
Yeah.
people that had further relationships with each other
Yeah.
and might not be together but still meet each other,
Yeah.
do their best in public to like be civil with each other
Yeah.
because of like the atmosphere of family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, after high school, you did your 7th form year here in New Zealand, and you said you kind of go everywhere. Your classmates go everywhere. So you've had classmates go to America, everywhere, New Zealand. Where did you go and why?
I went to Palmerston North.
That's where I grew up.
But
See,
you
that
weren't
was
there
the
at time.
universe like connecting us. Like, hey, you guys are meant to be together. Touch wood, because we've only been married for like 5 years.
So little faith.
So anyway, I just find it interesting that you went to Palmerston North, and that's where I grew up. And I just left Palmerston North
Yeah.
when you went there.
Yeah. I was
Talk to me
17.
about it.
You would have been what, 15?
I don't know. I can't remember. 13, 14. I was 14. Very. Oh, don't even. I wasn't even at the legal age.
Say bear. I'm kidding.
Anyway.
So I went to Palmerston North. I went to Palmerston North because I'm going to edit that shit out.
Huh?
I'm going to edit that out. Anyway, I went to Palmerston
Yeah, you
North.
have to edit that out.
I went to Palmerston North when I was 16.
Yeah.
And I went there because my sister went to Massey University, so she was already in Palmy.
What was the real reason why you went to Palmerston North? That is not what I know of why you went to Palmerston North.
Oh, I wanted to get away from my family. No, for real.
Yeah.
Like, but who doesn't though? Like, you know, like.
Geez, not me. I think
Really?
that must be like a real Balangi thing. Like Islanders, like we're like, hey, we want to stay like kind of close to our families. Like, I don't.
When
Like,
our
I
kids
went
get
on my
to, when our kids
OE.
get to 16 or 17, I'm kicking them out the house.
No, but I'm gonna be like, come home if
See.
you need to.
Maybe it's a more female-male thing.
I don't know. I just think it's a real Balangi thing. Like, hey, I'm gonna go as far away from my family as possible, but I could be wrong.
Not in that sort of sense. Just in the sense I need my space,
Yeah.
and I need my space.
Okay. Anyway, talk to me.
So I needed my space.
That's gonna be my new. That should be my podcast. Talk to me, because I've been saying that a lot
Yeah.
in this podcast. I just noticed.
Could
Anyway,
be a cool name for a podcast. Talk to me.
Touch me.
Korero mai.
No, I'm not.
That is,
Māori.
that's a show, isn't it? Yeah, it's the
Anyway,
Māori
let's not
show.
go there because I'm not Māori. You're like going way off.
Anyway, I was in Palmy.
Yeah.
So previously, the year before, I've been working in I was at Form 6, obviously, working in the school holidays at a supermarket, getting paid
That's right.
80 cents
Being
an
treated
hour.
like shit.
Coming to New Zealand, going to 7th form, working part-time in McDonald's, Rangi TK McDonald's,
Yes,
in
I used to
Palmerston
go
North,
there when I was a kid.
getting paid $8.70 an hour. Blingin'.
Actually, I got paid $12 an hour as a waitress back in 2007.
This is 2001.
Well, I mean,
Sorry, this is 2000, literally 2000, the year 2000.
I know. Actually, it was $11.75. I got paid as a waitress back in 2007.
It's another 6 years, so the minimum wage had climbed by then.
That's still not a lot, but anyway, $8.
Yeah.
That's pretty pathetic. And
I know, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my God, I'm so rich.
Okay. No,
When
I
you
can
go from
imagine.
80
I
cents
would've
an hour
felt pretty
to $8.70 an hour.
I see. Right.
Oh my God, so good.
Right.
I was so excited. I was
Okay.
flipping burgers, man. I got a burger badge. I got burger stars as well.
Right.
And I was pretty good at what I did.
Yeah.
I thought I was making some good
So
money.
you went to high school.
Yeah.
You had a part-time job as McDonald's.
Yeah.
You were staying with a host, or
Yeah. I was staying with I was staying with the sister of an English teacher from Tonga High School.
right? And how did you find that?
I don't really enjoy it.
No, I
It was
can
hard.
imagine.
I don't really like it.
It's kind of like, was she Tongan? Were they Tongan?
Yeah, she was Tongan and her
Right.
husband was American. But I just didn't really fit,
Hmm.
and I didn't feel comfortable there.
But you probably would have, we need to talk about that culture shock for you.
Right.
Coming from Tonga to New Zealand
Yeah.
in your 7th form.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that culture shock.
Okay. So when I was in Tonga, like in 6th form, like I was a good student.
Mm.
I got mainly A's. Right.
Wow.
Mainly A's. Yeah, I was a good
In
student.
6th form. Yeah.
6th form.
Jeez. Okay.
Coming here to New Zealand was very, very different. Also in Tonga, I was passing everything easily.
Yeah.
I was away from my home, but that was by choice though, right?
Mm.
But I was all of a sudden in a school where being brown was the minority,
Mm.
and I was surrounded by white people.
Mm.
And I didn't really have the greatest relationship, I guess, or greatest start with white people, even though I'm part white. I just found their culture very, very different to what I had grown up with.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very different. And I was surrounded by it, and there was no escape from it.
Mm.
I felt sometimes some of my teachers had a certain view of me because I was brown.
Mm.
Shout out to you, Mrs. Lee.
Oh, Mr. Malcolm. That's my teacher. Told
Right.
me I'd be flipping burgers in Burger King.
Right.
I remember those people. You remember them, eh?
Yeah, you do.
What did
Yeah.
she do? What did she
She just
do?
wasn't nice to me.
You bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just wasn't nice. You know?
She didn't give you the time. She didn't value you enough. She didn't believe in you.
I just felt small
Yeah.
every time I was in her class.
She's a bitch.
Yeah. And it was stats. It was bursary stats, statistics.
Ooh, that's so disgusting.
Yeah. I did statistics. I did biology.
Yeah.
I did Japanese. I
Yeah.
did classical studies.
Yeah.
I did English.
I did 3 bursary subjects.
Right.
And in that time, you had to get 100% in each, because I only made it into 3.
100% just to pass.
To get into university entrance, because you
No.
don't have, yeah, that's how it worked back then. So if you had is it 6 is the standard, right? Bursary subjects? Or
I had
6 or 5? I think 5. You had to just pass 60.
I see what you're
So
saying.
if you had less, which I did because I found out I love drama, I only ended up doing English, some other subjects I can't remember, but I remember talking to what do you call them? The people that are supposed to guide you onto uni or guide you onto
guidance counselors or no careers advisors.
Careers, yeah. No, she didn't even. She was like, "Oh, good luck."
Right.
She's like, "You shouldn't even do that. You should just do whatever." But
Right.
anyway, talk to me about bursary. Those were your
Yeah.
subjects.
So because I had 5, I
That's
think
pretty
my general
impressive.
pass mark there was 45.
Right, 45.
I failed everything. I failed
You
everything.
didn't even get 45.
Nah, I failed everything. I failed English by. I think English was the only one I passed by 2 points.
That's
I got
why you
47.
ended up doing
Everything else I
drama.
failed. However, I granted entrance into university
Mm,
on probation.
mm.
So I had to be like a
Same.
B student for the first 6 months continuously and can't drop below B.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I would maintain the rest of the degree, obviously.
Right.
And so yeah, it was a culture shock. It was a lot
Yeah.
to do with the condition, the weather as well.
Mm.
Because I'd come from a real humid tropical Pacific island,
Yeah.
I was used to having humid skin. My skin was used to
Yeah.
that. But coming to Palmerston North, which is really dry. in
It's so
winter,
true.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough because I suffer from really bad eczema.
Yeah.
Every time I go back home to Samoa, my skin just glows and I don't have eczema. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's the moisture.
It's just where we
Brings out the
belong.
natural oils in your skin.
Yeah.
But here in New Zealand, see, I didn't grow up with ever putting moisturizer on
Mm.
because only women,
You have to
females
have a
did that.
skincare routine here in New Zealand.
Yeah. Well, I didn't grow up with that, and so I felt like it would be too feminine to put moisturizer on my skin, so I didn't.
Oh, right.
And I also felt like putting lip balm on my lips would be a feminine thing as well.
I think my dad was the one that told me how to take care of my skin.
Sorry?
Oh, I mean, when you say it's a feminine thing, my dad, who's very masculine, he was the one that told me how to take care of my skin.
Yeah, sure, but he has been here since he was
Yeah, I know, but that's
13,
what I mean.
12,
I can
13.
understand
It's
why
very
you
different.
thought, like, that's not... Okay. Right, so... And
So my skin dried out, I had really bad acne, my lips cracked, and I was
Jeez.
miserable.
Right. That's a horrible thing to go through, especially when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
You're already so self-conscious.
I was so self-conscious.
Yeah.
I was so self-conscious of my bad skin, right?
Yeah.
Like, if we were in a room, I'd always position myself to make sure that the light was behind me so that
Right.
you couldn't see how bad my skin was. It was so bad.
Mm.
I would have dreams of, like, ripping my skin
Oh,
off
God,
my
stop.
face.
I can imagine that.
Yeah. But I
Right.
would dream about it. Like, these are my sort of dreams. So it would invade my mental space, really, in a massive way. It would affect me so much that I would, you know, like when you're with your friends and you're joking about other people?
Yeah.
When I would start to joke about someone, I would stop myself because I couldn't bear the fact of anyone joking about me and my skin.
That's just so that's just so human, though.
Yeah.
That's so human.
Well,
But
you should always be a good person. And
That sucks.
But
though,
when you're a
that you have
teenager,
to
though,
go through that as a teenager,
yeah.
because it's already hard as it is, and you don't have your support network there with you. You're in a foreign country. Everything's a culture shock for you.
You don't really like where you're staying.
You
don't
don't
feel
like where you're
welcome.
staying. So how did you come out of that? Where did you move on to next after 7th form in Palmerston North?
I got entrance into drama school at Unitec in Auckland.
Why drama school? Did you do any drama in your previous, in high school?
I
and
did
7th
one
form?
high school production during 7th form.
Right.
And then I auditioned for drama school.
Wow.
I got on.
Okay. So
And-
you never thought you were good at it. You were just like, this is all that I have. Okay.
Yes, 100%.
Right.
And so I went for it. I just took it by the balls and ran.
Drama school. So which drama school did you go to?
Unitec, Auckland.
Unitec. And what year did you start? And
So this is like 2001.
right.
And going into it, there was either 6 or 8. Sorry, I'm dyslexic, so I sometimes get even numbers mixed up. But there was either 6 or 8 brown guys in my year.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
I know that intake's normally not in the whole class. It was quite a big year. It was 32, I think, all up in the
That's
whole year.
massive.
33.
If anyone doesn't know, I also went to drama school. And
How many were you in your year?
there were only like 25, and there were only 3 of us brownies, and we stuck together. Oh, along with another good friend of mine, Julia, who was the token palangi. But that's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that really
'Cause
helped me.
yeah, it's hard being like such a minority
Yeah.
and such
Because a lot of stuff that you do is quite weird and foreign and
yeah. Like you paid 7K
a year.
a year
A year.
to play Grandma's Keys.
Hey, I know some people that were either in my year and other years that were foreign students that were paying double or triple that.
Yeah, you do. It's crazy how you pay so much, but you know why you pay so much to go to drama school?
Why?
Because the government doesn't believe that that is a career that's going to pump back into the economy. Like, which you know how hard it is to get a job as
It
an actor.
really isn't.
No,
The government's right on that one.
you're right on that one. Like, because most courses are like 3,000, right? I
Yeah.
remember my sister being like,
business
what
business
the hell?
economics is about
But
3,000.
they're like, drama. Oh, you just let
Yeah.
them pay 7K
7.5.
and then they're going to end up working as waitresses and which
yeah,
you
well,
do,
it was
actually.
only 2 years, last year or the year before, that I paid off my student loan.
that's right.
And so I've had it for...
But then again, Michael, you haven't really had a proper paying salary job till maybe 4 years ago?
That would be the same as most actors, right?
Not for me.
Right.
Shit.
Okay.
I was in my job for 8 years. My salary job for 8 years. It was horrible. But
Why was it horrible?
because it wasn't what I wanted to do. I was getting paid peanuts. I did like move up, which was great. So I, got some perks in that. But, jeez, it's just not worth it. Like, anyway, so you made it into drama school. What did it take to get into drum school? What was that process? Because
Audition
it's
process.
actually pretty hard. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't know how hard it is because
Well, you
you're
go-
up against
A lot of people.
hundreds of people. I don't know what it
Thousands.
is nowadays. Thousands.
Yeah,
okay.
in my
Well,
year, 2,500 they auditioned.
Right.
They picked from that
2,500.
33.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
I need to blow my nose. Excuse me. I don't have COVID.
So I was lucky to make it into the 33.
And what did you have to do? Were you
Learn some
prepared for
lines.
it? Did you get help?
No. Oh, no.
So what did you do?
I chose a couple of pieces and memorized them and then performed
Didn't
them.
they allocate you pieces and then you had to...
They gave you like a selection of like 10 different pieces. You
Yeah.
could choose like maybe 2 or 3 pieces and learn them, memorize them, and then perform them to them.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
And you didn't find that nerve-wracking considering you only ever did one play in high school? It came naturally to you?
Before I did the play in high school,
Mm.
in sixth form.
Oh, you were
I
like a
was a
speech
yeah.
winner,
I was
nerdy guy.
yeah.
Yeah,
I won a speech in Tonga and went to Melbourne
that's right.
to represent Tonga at like an international speech thing.
You're
So I was
really
used to
good at
speaking
it.
in front of people.
Which is why you're probably a host of a podcast. Which is why you had successful jobs as a salesperson over the phone, customer service, because I sucked at that. But
I've self-taught myself. a
Oh,
lot of- a
you
lot of this
actually,
stuff.
that's your job now. It's your 9 to 5 job now, which you love, and you're really good at it.
Yeah, but that's more about relationships and
That's right.
maintaining relationships.
But
with
I
people.
remember when you had that job over the phone when I first
Selling
started
wine.
dating you. We're going to talk about it? Okay.
No, we can talk about it. We can talk
can.
about anything.
Okay, all right. When you were selling wine, you would talk shit to sell shit.
Yeah,
I can't do that.
it'd be like, hi,
Like,
hello. And I'd be like, hi, is Charlene there? Hi, yes, Charlene speaking. G'day, Charlene. It's Mike here from the New Zealand Wine Society. Probably shouldn't say their name. We'll edit that out.
oh, you did. You have to edit that out. They're not even going anymore. But anyway, carry on. Carry on with that little play you're doing right now.
How's your day going? The Wine Society. Oh, what are you doing calling? You only called about 3 weeks ago. I know. I wouldn't be calling. It's just that we've got this Shiraz, Charlene. It's amazing Shiraz. South Australia, Barossa Valley. 4 years old. Big. Ballsy. Fruity.
Sold. Charlene.
Imagine that
Charlene wants that in her mouth.
in your mouth. Those tannins. Those big, bold tannins. Just... Charlene, normally I can't sell it for anything less than $18 a bottle.
Yeah.
Just because you answered the phone and we're talking right now, we're still talking.
You're going to get it for $1
$13.50 a
cheaper.
bottle. What do you reckon, Charlene?
Charlene's going to she's going to take that all in her mouth. She's going to buy the whole box. That's what Charlene going to do. And Charlene's probably going to be me in my 50s.
Brilliant.
I am your number one customer.
Sweet.
Okay. So
But I've self-taught
you've
a lot of...
always been quite a confident person when it comes to speaking, talking,
On the
talking
outside.
shit.
On the outside.
On the outside. On the outside,
Yeah.
definitely.
On the inside, it's quite a different story sometimes.
Mm.
A lot of the jobs I've done and a lot of things that I do
Yeah.
require like a lot of
I
like...
know. How do you... It's great because
Yeah.
you've really built yourself up.
Yeah. But I have like real like inner high expectations of what I do.
That's that driven part of Michael Koloi.
Yeah, and it's not always like I describe it like this, like because at the moment I'm a trainer as well, and so I take a couple of classes a
You
week
are.
at a gym, and I take like group
intense ones.
fitness classes.
Yeah.
But for those when I'm taking a class, and whenever any trainer that's out there listening to this has to take a class, you have to switch on for the hour, and
Oh, it's just like acting.
yeah, but I've had moments, like, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, just before I'm about to go on and take the class, just before it's about to start, where all of a sudden I'm like, I don't want to do this. I want to go now. Like a quiet little
That's
freak out
human,
moment.
though.
And then, and then the clock goes up to 6. Oh, what's the time that I take it? 5:29, 5:30. Clicks on to 5:30, and I'm like, I blow the whistle. I'm like, let's go.
Right. So it's a
Switch into it.
switch
Go.
that you
It's
turn
time.
on.
It's time to pay the bills, Mike. Let's go. Move.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what you're feeling on the inside,
Yeah.
it's time to pay the bills. Get up.
But that's
speak.
kind of something that you're taught at drama school as well, right? Like, I remember when you went to drama school, they're like, leave your shit at the door.
Yeah.
You are here to learn.
Yeah.
If you have to put a show on, like, leave that shit at the door and perform.
Yeah.
Which you kind of turn that switch on to, like...
It gets to some people though. Like, I do know trainers where it just gets to them, and they're like, I can't do it anymore. Like, it stresses them out.
Yeah.
Because they build the pressure, and they're like, and when it gets to the time the class is starting, they've got 40 people sitting there looking at them.
That's scary.
Yeah, well, it can be, because you can
That's
either
scary.
take all those eyes and think like they're looking at me going, thinking that, and they're all thinking, what's he gonna do now? What's he gonna say? Or his set's not good enough. But those are thoughts that are only going on in that person's head.
Yes, of course.
Everyone else is looking
They're
at
just
them.
worried about themselves.
Worried about themselves.
They're like, oh my gosh, can I do that
Yeah.
squat?
Yeah.
What is that movement?
What am I
don't
wearing
know that
today? Oh my
movement.
God, are these the right tights? Did I wear
Yeah.
the wrong tights today? Do I look fat in this? Do I look terrible in this? Oh my God. Oh, so-and-so is here.
Who
And
thinks that?
these are
I
all
do.
the thoughts
I'm
that
joking.
all the people sitting there are thinking, worrying about themselves.
Of course, but this is a lesson that we teach our kids too, when they're so like self-conscious and caught up in their own minds, especially our son who's preteen, is that, you know, while you're worrying about yourself and you're worried that people are thinking about this and that about you, everyone's thinking about themselves.
But it's something I've just learned to sort of like deal with, and like,
You do a great job at it. You do a great job at everything that you do. So you are people don't know, Michael is obviously the host of the show, Garage Drinks with Mike. He is a father. He also has a 9-to-5 job as an accounts manager, which he does an amazing job at, and his company loves him. He's also a trainer at Fit 60, which he takes 2 classes. And you're also an actor as well when you get the opportunities. Let's talk about that later. And you also want to be a voiceover artist, which is my job. But anyway,
I did not want to be a voiceover artist.
you try to.
I tried to.
Go, come on, let me hear something.
You just heard my voiceover, like the phone call, like the mock
Oh
phone
yeah,
call.
no, that ain't the cut, mate.
Okay. It's Meat Week at New World.
Anyway, so where did we leave off? I completely lost track. See, this is why I could never be.
So let me
host
ask
of
you a
podcast.
question. Because
Yeah,
I know
sure.
it gets exhausting, like trying to lead stuff, and
I don't think I'm doing a very good job at it.
you're doing a great job.
I'm just drinking.
But we are sitting here in our garage. It is a Friday night. It's a Friday night. We're in
It's a
lockdown, level
Friday
3
night.
in New Zealand. Our
Our children
children
are asleep.
are all asleep.
Yeah.
So we're trying to cover our asses with the podcast that we couldn't do and just do one ourselves.
Yeah.
This is obviously, for those of us that live in Auckland, our 4th lockdown.
Yeah.
How are you finding this lockdown compared to the other 3?
This one pretty horrible. I think I found the second lockdown the worst. Like the worst. Like I actually had to get counselling after
second
that
one.
one. Yeah, when we went from level 4 and then our kids went back to school and we're like, freedom. And then, hey, no, we're going back to level 3. It was horrible. I just mentally was drained. I was like, I can't do this. And
Do you know what's I was thinking about today that's really trippy?
what?
The lockdowns never happen during school holidays. And
Yeah.
before coronavirus ever even hit, teachers were striking about.
Wait, this
I'm
is
just
a
saying, I don't wanna put
pandemic.
out any
There's a
conspiracy
virus out
theories
there.
out there,
Can
like-
you not?
Just saying.
Anyway,
Is this to help with the teachers' pay?
we just had
I'm
a
kidding.
teacher come.
I'm kidding.
Okay, Michael, what are you drinking? So, no, I found the second lockdown a lot harder. The third one was only 3 days, which was only, 2 weeks ago? Excuse me. And that was okay. I was feeling good. And this one, feeling better today. The last 2 days, I did not like you. I did not like my kids.
Why not?
Just being honest. Because, I don't know, I was just in this mindset of feeling trapped. And I couldn't even... I didn't even know who I was. I didn't even know what I wanted. Like, the clarity in my mind was so fogged up, I couldn't even think straight. And I don't like being like that, because I like being very clear, and I like setting goals and doing it. Like, I would set goals the day before and just not do it.
It's because everything's uncertain.
Yeah, living in that uncertainty
Exhausting, eh?
and gives you anxiety. It does. Like, I feel for everyone. Like, I'm not the only one going through this. And
You
our
are
children are
definitely not the
going
only one
through a
going
hard
through
time too, even though they're living their best lives. At
Well,
the
they're
moment.
not when we stress out.
No, they're not. That is true. But I do try and hide it as much as I can from the kids. Like, I like to cry in the shower by myself. But I feel good afterwards. It's just a way to vent and let it go, and then just reset and carry on the next day. It's human. It's natural. No one's perfect. You have to go through those emotions, I suppose. And it makes you realize what you really want to do and what you're really capable of, and the person that you really are, you know? You're like going through those moments. You're like, okay, I don't feel good right now. Let me
Being
feel
a
this.
parent is like the toughest thing, eh?
Oh, it's so
You think?
tough.
Like, because you and I have both done heaps of different jobs.
Yeah.
But being a parent, like, really is like the fucking
It
toughest
is.
job.
You're always, like, sometimes
you're
you
always
feel
on
like you're
call.
always losing. Not always losing. Like, when you lose, you feel like, oh my God, I'm losing like 90% of the time, which you're not. But in the moment, it feels like you are.
Yeah.
But the thing is, being a parent is you're always going to be faced with challenges, because you're never ever going to be a parent of like, you're always going to be a first time parent of everything. Like, this is the first time I'm going to be a parent of a 13-year-old boy. You know, talk about the process of that. And how long did you spend at drama school?
3 years.
3 years. And how did you find that? I guess.
Pros and cons, both good and both challenging.
Right.
I enjoyed it because it was fun.
Yeah.
But if you ask me again, Mike, do you
Yeah.
want to pay $7.5K to have fun for 3 years? So do you feel like paying $22K for 3 years to have fun?
No, I think
And then
it was
for the next
worth
10
it.
years.
You can never regret it, because you're a fantastic actor.
Yeah, but I
and
don't
you're a
often get the
trained
chance to
actor.
act.
Huh?
I don't often get the chance to act.
Well, now that I write, I'm hoping you will,
Sure.
because.
But how many other great actors out there don't have amazing partners that write? That feel like.
Well, I just started.
I know, no, but what I'm saying is, like, there are tons of actors out there that are great, but not
Yeah, there
everyone gets
are.
a chance to portray what they've got. So it's always a massive gamble.
It is.
But gamble as well is not just up to you
No.
and how much you persevere and push that.
Oh, God, no. It's fickle as fuck.
It's up to a lot of different factors that are out of
It
your
is,
control.
and we know about it. Are
You
we going to
can
talk about
control-
that?
I think you can control maybe 30% of it.
Mm.
You can control, like, what you look like. You can control
How well you do in the audition.
how well you do it. You can control.
Oh, well,
That's about
no,
it, really.
that doesn't matter, actually.
That's about it,
'cause
really,
whether
yeah.
you do an amazing audition or not,
Yeah.
so many other factors
There's so many other
can
factors. And so I
cancel
think
that out.
a lot of it comes down to sort of lack of opportunity as well.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
But the one thing I think that you have to have if you are to try and maintain a career is the ability to never take anything personally.
Which is pretty hard.
Very
you
hard.
have to have thick as skin
Very hard.
to be an actor.
But if you can do that, then it
So
makes...
have you always had thick skin?
No, of course not.
Right. It's something that you learn. Like, for me personally, it took a lot for me to
Yeah.
grow thick skin, and then
Mm.
I took a break from it.
Yeah.
You know, I took a break
Yeah.
from it once I became a mother. Then I decided to go back in it, and it was hard. I had to
Yeah.
like build that thick skin again,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty thick right now. I just
Yeah.
want
Yeah. But
to
yeah.
carry on.
But you have to have that in order to like succeed.
It's hard because I see so many artists out there, actors that find it really difficult, and I know what that's like.
Yeah.
And no matter what you say, they won't get it. They just have to kind of go through their own journey to go, yeah, why did I cry over that? That was, you know what I mean? But you should cry over it. You should feel what you feel.
If that's what works for you, because
Yeah.
everyone's different.
Yeah.
But also it's just understanding as well that what's meant for you is meant for you, and what's not meant for you is not meant for you.
That's right.
And being able to, and it's not easy sometimes to accept that, because that's at face value. Like if something, if you put all your eggs and your hopes and stuff into getting something, and it falls through like on the last
you just
callback.
Can't do that, but it's hard not to.
Yeah. People always, everyone is human. Like you're always doing that. You know,
it's like getting to the second,
getting so close
interview.
to it, so close to it that you start to think, if I get this, I would play it like this and this.
Yeah.
But you need to shut all that out, because like
or you need to be able to shut that off once you not get the callback. Well, you know what I mean? Like.
I think the thing is that like you do the audition, you do the callbacks, but you never should ever really tell anyone about it or celebrate or start thinking about it until you've got the role. Until you got the role, it's either you got a job or not. So whether you go through callbacks and stuff doesn't really matter. None of it matters.
So that's something you had learnt, right, after you had finished drama school and you were in the world, the industry as an actor trying to find work. You learnt all that while being a father as well, which is hard. Yeah. Because
they're looking for some sort of consistency to pay the rent.
That's right, which is fucking impossible when it comes to wanting to be an actor.
Yeah. So
unless you've got a role on Shortland Street, or what else is consistent out there?
That's about it, really. Unless you got a TV series. Who
wants to be on Shortland Street? Yeah.
Because even if you got to get like a feature film role, you've got like maybe work for 3 months, but that's after that.
That ain't enough to feed little mouths and keep a roof over their heads.
And then keep in mind as well, like for all the actor parents out there that are trying to hold down 9-to-5 jobs, they sneak off for the audition initially. No, but this is true though. This
a lot of my lunch breaks.
Like, are on their lunch break doing an audition, and they're on their lunch break a lot doing auditions. So you're always trying to hustle. So you're trying to push your side hustle, hoping and praying that it's going to be worth something. So when you sneak off for like that Kmart audition that there's 2,000 other people doing at the same time as well, it feels so pointless and stuff.
Yeah.
But you never know. You just might get it. It's a tough industry.
It is.
And that's why I think it's one that we don't encourage our children to sort of follow our footsteps. That's what I was just
going to ask you. But we can't necessarily be that way.
I'm never going to say no.
Of course not.
But at least we can give them
at the back
insight.
of our minds, at the bottom of our hearts, we're like, please don't choose this career path, because we know how hard it is. Yeah. But then that's really unfair, because I think our children, if they choose that career path, they're all very capable of doing it. You know, we've raised them to have the resilience, you know, to be able to handle that. Like for me, I feel like I really had to learn. Like I didn't know anything about rejection and stuff like that.
Right.
Or all about the industry. Like I came from a background where no one did acting at all. Like I had a few artists here and there. So for me, it was all new. But at least, you know, if you come from parents that have, you know, some wisdom or some experience in it, they're able to like let their children know, like, hey, you might not get this. Be prepared to be rejected. See, I was like, I got into drama school and my parents, like your typical island, yay, she's an actress. Like fully celebrating that. Got one show, they're like, yay, she's a superstar. Like,
it's the same thing. No, but imagine you telling them, I got a call back for Shortland Street.
Yeah, they'd still be excited.
She's on Shortland Street next week. Yeah. She will be on Shortland Street. She's working with them at the moment.
Yeah, that's, you know, like, and that's extra pressure.
Yeah.
For I think a lot of islanders in the industry. Did you have any pressure, like having to excel in that, in the acting industry from mum? Obviously, it would have been just mum.
From my parents?
Well, did your mum agree with that career path?
She didn't mind. Like I never felt there was anything negative about it. When you've been broke, right? When you've been broke, and we've been broke a few times.
We have been broke.
When you've been like real broke, you always have that in the back of your mind. That like that hustler's mentality, that like I need this. I'm gonna make this.
I don't know. I come from kind of a faith base, like.
What? Sorry.
Like faith. I have faith that things will provide if I just trust in it and work hard. Of course, like I'm not gonna go, hey, food's gonna appear on the table. Like I always like to think positive about it, and of course work fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like we would ever be without.
Yeah. I don't know. I have aggression.
You're very aggressive. It needs to calm the fuck down, mate.
I am because I feel that fiercely.
But you that's your personality, though. Yeah. You're very impatient, hot-headed, passionate. You know, and that's great. Those are great qualities.
Sometimes.
You just got a woman like me to balance that out.
I do. I'm very grateful for that. I am.
Anyway, so experiencing the industry as an actor, and of course having that pressure to providing, what other jobs did you have to do? Heaps. I know you had to work, as we all know. We've heard the whole little snippet of your what do they call it? Your spiel, your script of your wine, selling wine. We heard that.
God, that wasn't a script.
Well, that was all
me.
Impromptu. Well, that was scary. I would have hung up the phone. Chanel or Shantae or whoever that woman was. Like, you know what? Take your wine and shove it up your beep, beep. Do phones even beep anymore? No, they don't. Not cell phones. But back in those days, you got the beep, 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 beep.
I wouldn't know, Nora. That's not a sound I would normally hear.
Because I was selling. Okay. So what other jobs did you have to do?
When I first came out of drama school, I painted houses.
You painted houses?
Yeah. We used to, there's another acting mate of ours that had like a little painting company.
Fantastic.
And so we'd go around.
What a great little hustle on the side.
This was the full-time job.
Okay, full-time job. So he obviously wasn't successful in acting.
Oh, no.
Okay, anyway, carry on. Sorry.
We had
who is this? No,
we had heaps of different houses to paint.
Right.
But probably the most memorable one was we had to do like a mental. I don't want to say. It's where it had mental health patients.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But it was somewhere. It was in like just by the bridge. What's that area called? That part of Auckland, just by the.
There's so many bridges in Auckland.
Oh, sorry, the main Auckland Harbour Bridge on this side.
The North Shore.
No, this side.
Okay.
By Shelley Beach.
Okay.
But anyway, each we had to paint the outside of this place, and each room, each occupant had a different personality.
Wow.
And they were all into different things. It was crazy. It was crazy and it was fun.
Okay, honey, these are
okay.
people that you are calling.
No. Let me just put everything in perspective. I'm 19. No, I'm 20. I've just come out of drama school.
Yeah.
But I'm in my mind, I'm preparing myself to be the greatest actor that New Zealand has seen.
Like all drama school students had once they had left their final year.
So I'm always observing. So when you're observing,
oh God, that's such a
when you're observing other people,
but like, it's important.
This particular place is the most fascinating because they have like such different personalities. So I'll talk you through some of them. Like, go painting outside the window of one of them. You just see this. With an army hat on.
Yeah.
And inside, there's like planes, helicopters hanging. This guy was into the Vietnam War.
Right.
Like, this is all innocent. And I just be painting by the window, and I just see these eyes just come up, look at me, and then just go back down.
Right.
I was like, that's cool. We got to know them.
Okay.
Right. Another guy's room, completely dark. Completely. He had actually painted the inside walls black. And then he put like a lot of glow in the dark stuff on it. And he was really into Lord of the Rings.
Was it out of that?
And it was like a different world inside his room.
Okay.
Those are the main two I remember. But they all had such different things, and when they're into something, I guess they're into it. Like they commit to it in a massive way. They never gave us any trouble, like ever. Like they were like probably like the most rude they would ever be would just be like to walk straight past us.
Right.
But in the majority of the time, they say hello to us, come and talk to us.
Right.
And I remember we got attached to them. We got attached to them, and we were there for like a few months painting And then at the end, like we were there through their Christmas party, and they invited us. They invited us to join their Christmas party.
Yeah.
And we felt so attached to them that we did like a haka for them during their Christmas party. They loved it. They got so excited.
Yeah.
But they would like smoke a lot, and that was such a cool experience because there were such different personalities.
Interesting. Like in one of your jobs, having to experience that.
Yeah.
It's like drama school, actually.
Yeah.
So you came out of drama school, and then you
yeah.
had this job, and you experienced.
Yeah. Except there was no bitchiness.
Oh, was there bitchiness?
How could there not be, Nora?
Oh, maybe there was. Maybe I was so naive I didn't see it. I'm just being sarcastic. So, okay, so that was one of your jobs.
One of my
jobs.
Of
many. I'm sure there must have been many because I've done everything under the sun.
The other one, I was managing a gym.
Yes, that's right. I was with you at the time.
I found myself being ops manager of a gym.
Yeah.
And also being a trainer at the same gym.
That's right.
And then also helping to run the interior renovations.
That's right. Wow.
Project managing, like running interior renovations. Something I'd never done.
But that's fantastic, though. It was a way for you to hone a lot of your skills, though, into that, which you always have that can-do attitude.
Well, I knew that it would only step me to, like...
And it has.
Yeah.
Like, you've done amazing since then in terms of...
I've done all right.
Well, you've done enough that I can actually stay at home with the kids, which I don't anymore. I actually have a job. But we were never in that position. And it was hard. You know what I mean? Like,
do you know what changed everything?
What?
Was... Remember that phone call that you and I had?
No.
I was driving to the Wine Society.
I had many phone calls.
We have many phone calls. But it was a time that I was driving into the city from South Auckland.
Mm-hmm.
And I was late. I was already stressing out.
Yes.
There was traffic.
Yes, I remember.
And I was on my way and I was stressing out. I was like, I'm late again. And when I get there, I'm going to have to pay like $20-something just for parking for this bloody 6-hour shift.
That's right, because you usually train or bus and you took my car that day.
I didn't even have a car. Yeah.
That's right.
No,
you didn't.
I was stressed out and I called you and I was on the motorway and I was in traffic and I was like, I don't want to fucking go to this job. And you were like, then don't go.
That's right. That was the wine job?
That was the wine job.
That was the wine job.
And I was like, but I can't just not go. Like, and we need to get paid. And you're like, well, look, like, just don't go. Just go home. Turn the car out. Go home. Like, leave the job. If you're going to leave the job, you will find something else. And I'd already started being a trainer at the gym at the time. Part-time.
That's right. And then that's when the opportunity come after that.
No one had ever said that to me before.
Oh, right. Okay.
No one had ever,
I say that to myself all the time. If you don't like a girl, leave.
Yeah.
Something else will come.
No one had ever said that to me. And so I got off the next exit and I turned around and went home. And it got me thinking. I was like, you know what? Shit, man. If you believe in me to leave something I don't like and pursue something I do like, then I can do it. It just started like a chain of events of like self-belief. That was the moment where things changed. It was a pivotal moment in my career. My working career, because from then I just decided then that the next job I get, I'm going to get paid more than my last job.
Well, you know what, to be honest, for me at the time, because I was only dating you then, I couldn't believe that you were doing that job. Like, to be honest, I thought you could do so much more.
Well, before that I was lifting aluminium.
That's right, you told me that, and you were getting way less than what you were earning. So for me, I was just like, you can do so much better. Like, I knew your potential on what you could do. So it was a good choice. You did a good thing.
Yeah.
Just walking away from that and discovering what more you can do.
Yeah, and also just believing that each job that I take on, I'm not going to get paid less than the last job.
That's right.
So always advancing and never settling.
Yeah.
No matter what people tell you. People say, you're worth this, but you know that I'm worth this.
That's right.
So always like recognizing your worth and pushing for it.
So important.
So important.
And it's so important as a parent to role model to your children.
I feel
no matter what they do, you know.
I feel like so many of our like Pacific Island brothers and sisters only recognize the door opening.
Yeah.
But they don't stop to think the door's opening for a reason. It's not because someone's opening the door for you. It's because finally, whether you realize it or not, you've opened the door yourself. And someone's standing there going, yes, that's what I need. So when they offer you an amount, right, that's not your worth. Your worth is you opened the door. This is my amount. This is what I asked for, not what I'm going to take what I'm given.
It's a cultural thing.
I understand that.
And I think it will take...
But that's a cultural thing that we're taking advantage of because it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
The moment that we realize that our value and our skills and our worth is worth like up here and we stop accepting what's down here is the moment that we start to like really start to function in this Western world. That's
right. We just accept it for what it is and we just stay there. We don't want to move out of that comfort zone. We're just comfortable being there. Like I know I see so many of my people just sit comfortably and not try and get better, even though they're so much more capable of doing so much more.
Being born and raised in Tonga, I'm all about being humble, humility, and community. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I believe in that, like as a core. That's my core value, that is. But to exist, to raise a family in a Western world, to raise a family in Auckland, you have to have that mentality of like, my family has to eat. And that's a separate thing. I mean, at my core, I'm always going to be humble and have a little humility.
But your family's always going to eat, though. They always have. Like, our kids have never gone hungry.
Well, it depends whether you're going to live or whether you're going to survive. There's There's two separate things. Like, I could be comfortable in a minimum wage job, right?
Yeah, well,
and we would just get by.
That was my dad. No, my dad did amazing things, but he worked pretty hard in the same field that he was at. And I still see him as very successful, and we never went hungry.
I respect that, 100%. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, if you know your full potential,
right?
If you know your full potential, right, and if you really want to fulfill all your potential, then you have to demand all of that of yourself.
That is true.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, whether that's being in that job, if that's your full potential, that's fine. If you maximize your full potential, if you teach your children to maximize their full potential, then you can't ever really go wrong. Because people will always be pushing themselves to better themselves. And that's what kind of like this whole rat race is about. Keep bettering yourself. Keep pushing yourself to the best ability that you have, or like the best thing that you can put out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or the best you can make for your family.
Well, I mean, it's all about growth too. You have to grow. You have to evolve as a human.
Yeah, that's also a choice.
That is a choice.
Yeah.
I think naturally as humans, you just have to. Like, you feel the need to, like, move in that direction. Even though, like, our camera's still rolling. You don't listen to it. Like, your body, your spirit is telling you to move, to change. That door's opening, go for it. Yeah.
I've learned so much though, like across the years and the different people that I've interacted with, about being grateful and about being humble and about big opportunities and about how to react in big opportunity when you have big opportunities in front of you, or when you have like successes and failures and challenges, and how you respond to those things in life really dictates like where you are as a human. Like when I fail every day. I feel like I fail every day. Like I have so many, like you said it before, like I'm hot-headed, you know, like I'm very passionate. Sometimes I fail myself every day because I react in a certain way to a certain situation, and then I disappoint myself because I'm like, why did you do that, Michael? Why did you say that?
But it's good that you can you know, look at that though. Some people don't. They're just like, you know, it is what it is, fuck it. You know, you can look back and go, okay, this is where you went wrong. Why did you do that? How can I better myself? You know what I mean? That's great.
Thank you, honey. I always want to keep bettering myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very important to me. Because if I can't grow, then I feel stifled, and I feel like I'm suffocating, and I feel like I'm in a rut. And so I'm the sort of person I need to keep like moving forward, and that's probably why you always find me so impatient. And so
yeah, no, nice shirt.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about that. I actually wanted to bring that shirt up at the beginning of the podcast because
hola, señorita.
This shirt is something
Mi amore,
else.
te necesito. Eres el único que necesito
And
en toda mi vida.
Don't know what's up with the bandana too.
We
cripping out over here.
I just wanted to feel comfortable. We're in lockdown, man. Like, firstly, I love this shirt. This is from Hallenstein's have a store that
We're
not
not
many people know
selling
about. It's not the
Hallenstein's. Don't
Hallenstein
even
store,
mention
but it is the Hallenstein's. What do you call it?
outlet.
Hallenstein's outlet in Madukau.
Yeah.
I went there looking for a shirt.
You had one job. He had
found
one job to go get just a t-shirt, something casual because we're in a garage, before his interview with episode 8. Was it 8 with Raina? With Raina Vai, the most intelligent, amazing woman ever. And he comes back with that. And I'm like, you cannot do that podcast with that shirt.
I walked in there looking for a shirt. I came out as Tony Montana.
Yeah, well, more like the uncle from Papa Toy Toy. Someone come get the uncle.
It's nice, it's loose.
Yeah, it looks good.
I like it. The bandana is like, I just want to feel comfortable. And when I was a kid, I used to always wear bandanas because Tupac used to always wear bandanas.
Well, you are a grown-ass man now.
But this is not in any way to condone any gang-related
Most definitely
behavior.
not. We have responsible parents.
But I like wearing bandanas.
Whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Hey. So, where do we leave off? For goodness sake. This is why I could never be a host of a show. We were talking about...
Well, you wanted to talk about my shirt.
Yeah, I had to bring it up because I actually wanted to bring it up in the beginning and I forgot about it because we were stressing about the mechanics of this. Running
a podcast is stressful, right?
It's pretty stressful. Like, it's not easy, especially when you have children, jobs. It's not easy.
What have you learned about producing a podcast?
What have I learnt? Well, it's hard working with your husband.
That's not just in podcasts, that's in everything.
No, I mean, I love you, but like...
No, but that's in any job. I think it'd be hard to work with your spouse.
I know. I have so much respect for people that work with their other half because it's not easy. But the one thing I have learnt is how to handle you, how to keep my shit, how to keep my cool. But time management, not the best at that. But this is really like, I'm still not good at online. I'm still really terrible at time management. But what have I learnt? That, hey, if your other half has a dream and they want to go for it, that you just have to fully support it. That's what I've learnt. Because when you told me this the first time, I was like, you crazy? Where are we going to get money to buy mics? Where are we going to get money to, like, get a camera? You don't even talk to me. What makes you think you can talk to other people? This is the truth. No, he does talk to me, but, you know, Michael's pretty content. He's just like, yeah, how's your day? Give me your feet. Let me rub them.
So initially, like, when I first came up with the idea, like, you were like, how is he going to interview people? Is that what you thought?
Well, I knew you naturally were you had the gift of the gab because you had done previous jobs, like your sales jobs over the phone. I'm like, well, he must. But the thing about a podcast is you can't fake it. You have to be real. And I think that's a quality that you have is you can sit down with a person to person and just connect with them. And so it works. You're a one-on-one person more than... no, you can do everything.
I don't like being in groups.
Yeah, but you're still good at that too.
Yeah, but
I'm not even good at it. I'm the worst at public speaking.
But this isn't public speaking though.
No, but I'm talking to you. If you were someone else, I'd be like, I can't talk. If I was acting and I was a character, easy as. But I can't do it.
Have you learnt things about me from listening to these podcasts that you didn't know before?
Nah, I knew everything. everything that you've said, I've heard it all.
What
We're pretty
surprises you
open.
the most about this podcast?
Why are you interviewing me? I'm supposed to be the host.
But
What
I nev-
surprises you the most about this podcast, Michael Koloi?
me?
Yeah.
What surprises me the most about this?
Tell me. Tell me, that's my new
The thing
podcast.
that's probably opened my eyes the most is the amount of talent around us that we never really knew about, and the amount of well-spoken, completely. I hate it when I'm trying to talk about something and words that I want to say elude me.
Yeah.
Amazingly articulate people
Yeah.
that have great ideas, strong passions, people that have amazing physical abilities, are very talented at what they do, are all around us.
Absolutely.
But until we sit them down and talk to them and hear their minds, we don't really understand the full capacity of what our people in South Auckland, not just South Auckland, but what our people are really worth.
That's our son playing Fortnite next door.
There's our son playing
Extremely
Fortnite.
loudly. Sorry, carry on. But no, you know what, I definitely surprised but not surprised because I grew up in South Auckland. I know the talent is all around me.
Right.
Like I just know, from arts to academics to everywhere, like
To mental health.
to mental health.
It's amazing.
Um,
Solo parents.
it's just having a platform where you can get them here
share their stories.
and share their story and let them unfold and let them talk about their successes and their backgrounds and their beliefs and what they're passionate about. And it's just, it's there. It's there. That's the thing. Our people from all walks of life, and not just Māori Pacific people, of course, our Asian, Indonesian brothers, Balangis as well, all amazing. And I think people forget that about South Auckland. But yeah, what else surprised you about the podcast? What else surprised you about the podcast? Please tell me.
How hard it would be.
Oh, it's pretty hard.
Technicalities, the frustrations, and how to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
That surprised me. I knew it'd be hard. I don't think it would be that
You just
hard.
think, hey, get some mics, get a guest on, we're all good, a camera rolling, but it ain't that simple.
That's the easy part. The easy part is talking to someone.
It's not really. Yeah.
But believe me, like, I think that's the most important part. The content of what we talk about and the free-flowing nature of the conversation has to be the most important, engaging part. If you haven't got that, then you haven't really got a show.
No.
And even though the sound quality and stuff is quite important.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I mean.
No. I mean, like, even though these are supposed to be quite important things for a podcast, like the sound and but you obviously hear cars and stuff roll past you. I don't care. I couldn't.
There are apps to remove that, but we can't afford it.
And we don't know how to use them.
And we don't know how to use it. Jeez, what am I on about? Yeah.
But I'm pretty happy with how it's going at the moment.
Yeah.
We're 10 episodes deep.
That's right.
Cheers.
And this is just the beginning. Like
10
you
episodes
talk about
deep.
how 10 episodes deep. You talk about how surprised you are with the amount of talent in South Auckland. This is just 10 episodes in. So, and you want this to continue, even though we don't get paid for it.
Watch out for the camera. Yeah.
Oh, hi, my camera. You're gonna be surprised even more. Like, there's so many amazing people out there that we want to have on board as guests.
So reply to my messages. God damn it.
It doesn't matter. We have a lineup.
But no, we have some very good people lined up, which I'm pretty excited to bring
amazing
on.
people. Are there any things that you regret in your life? You shouldn't really regret anything because things happen for a reason, but you do have those moments.
I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of bad calls.
Right.
I made a lot of bad decisions when I was younger.
Right.
I got myself into situations that I shouldn't have been in. So sometimes I count myself quite lucky that I'm sitting here, married to you, with our children. none of it has come without hard work. But if I look back at everything though, I can't say that I regret anything.
No,
because
they're
it
all
all
lessons.
happened for a reason.
That's
and they
right.
all brought me to where I am today, to be
Yeah.
the person I am today.
Absolutely. I so believe in that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
horrible things happen to people,
Yeah.
but everything happens for a reason.
Mm.
Like, you accept it and you build on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just makes you stronger, I think. Like, I wouldn't be the person that I am today without a lot of the struggles that I've been through.
Yeah.
And, yeah, okay. All right.
So I'm quite comfortable with where I'm at,
Yeah.
and I feel free as well.
I'm
to-
amazing.
you are amazing, but I feel
Joking.
free to like talk to you about things
Be a bitch sometimes.
when I don't
just
feel.
80% of the time. Sorry, carry on.
It's a terrible host.
I am terrible. That's why I
Listen
could
to your
never be a
subject.
host of my own. Sorry, I'm listening.
I feel comfortable enough to like talk to you about stuff when I don't feel comfortable within myself. When I recognize that I'm not feeling balanced, I can talk to you about stuff.
Because we're best friends.
We are.
You're my best friend. She's a real bad bitch. Oh, my.
Cheers.
Yes. Need some music. Anyway, carry on. So you tell me what you think success is.
I think success is being happy.
Content.
Well, I was just thinking about that. Like, what's the difference between being happy and being content?
Isn't it the same thing?
Well, it's different if you measure it. Okay. The way it breaks down to my chimp mind is
You chimp, I chimp.
is if success is defined by happiness,
Right.
then I define success every day and how I am every day, whether I'm happy every day. So some days I'm more successful than I am other days.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Nevertheless,
It's
though-
like you're never ever
100%.
gonna be right.
Yeah.
But
All
I'm
the
still
time,
content
yeah.
though. Like, it's like I'm never ever going to achieve being the best parent or the best wife or the best actress or whatever I want to do. But as long as I've given it a go, but I may have failed, I'm still content because I feel like I'm moving forward. I'm
Yeah.
growing. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. So I feel like I am successful,
I'm breathing really loud in the
but every day is a different measure of how successful I am.
mic.
Some days I'm more successful than others. Some days I'm happier than others.
But you're still trying.
Yeah. Always trying, every day.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the other thing about living as well, is like I feel like you should always be a student, always be willing to learn, always be willing to open your mind. No matter how old you are or how smart you think you are, you should always have like an open mind, willing to learn. It's that moment, like, man, a perfect example of this is actors that stop learning, where they get to a certain point when they're just like, I
Actors
know it.
never stop learning. You're always growing.
Some people do stop.
Yeah, well,
That's
don't-
the
I don't
problem.
see
But that's
how
the
that
problem.
works.
But that is the problem because
I'm just like, there's so much more. to
so much
learn.
more to learn. No matter what age you are.
No, because you're taking in also your life experience as well and putting that into it as a skill. Like, you ain't never ever going to be on top of your game in acting. And if you are, you're deluded.
Mm.
You're always growing. You're
There's
always
a few deluded people.
Are we naming people now? No, you're always growing. Yeah. Which is any field, really. But yeah, you are right. You should always be a student in life and be open and learning, and I completely agree with that. And manifesting good vibes. I'm tired. This is exhausting. What else can we talk about?
My darling, it's up to you. You are the
I'm
host.
the host. Whew, how do you guys do this? Right, so where you are now.
Feel free to wrap it up if you need to wrap it up.
No,
mate.
I don't want to. I want to keep going. I still got my bottle of wine to finish here. Bitch. I'm the worst host.
See, this is the problem with Garage Drinks with Mike.
You're a real bad bitch.
When
You're
the
the
host
only
gets
one.
drunk,
I'm not.
but the guest is still waiting for his question.
Not drunk. No, stop. Now you're making me like all flustered and stuff when I'm really quite onto it. What can I ask? Do you have any questions for me maybe? And then it could spark a question that I could have for you, because obviously I'm not as prepared as you are. Garage Drinks or Mike.
I'm not prepared. I'm just waiting.
Well, I can't think of anything, so ask me a question. God damn it. And then maybe I'll be like, oh, actually.
What's been the best thing about this lockdown?
That's what I wanted to ask. This particular lockdown? This one, number 4? Best thing. Actually, you know what? Not even giving a crap about like the kids learning, because that stressed me out. And the first lockdown, there was this expectation of, oh my god, my kids are not learning, I need to do something about it, because that's what a good parent would do.
Stuff all that.
Yeah, well, you were busy working. I didn't have a job at the time, so I was like, okay, this is what I need to do. And I stressed myself out. I didn't know what I was doing. And then the teachers were there, like, online, and they're like, you need to do this. And then they still had questions for me. I'm like, I don't know fractions. I don't even know my times tables. Joking. No, I'm not.
Oh my god.
So funny. I'm just cracking myself up. So, the best thing about this lockdown is that don't look at me like that.
Just speak.
I'm getting the.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry, guys. This is how we do it.
It's just not giving crap about
See,
it.
this is what happens when I get you that good wine. It's top shelf.
No, it's not. It's like a $12 bottle. What are you on about? It just looks fancy in the damn decanter.
That is $12.79, girl.
At least we don't have the vase. We went to an op shop when we got this table, and they had a glass vase sitting on the shelf, and he's like, babe, that's a decanter.
It's $5.
And I was like, dude, that is a glass vase. He's like, it's a decanter, we're getting it. So we got it, and every time he put wine in, I'm like, dude, that is a vase. This is a decanter, guys. This is a decanter, and you've unclipped your headphones. Anyway, funny story. That's what happens when you marry a Tongan. Yeah, so that is the best thing for me, is just being chill about my kids and their learning, and just making sure that they're happy, you know, because they don't need a stressed out mum. They can't learn in a stressed environment. So they just swimming in the pool. They read when they want to read. If they want to do activities, they do it. If they don't know the answer, I don't know the answer, then we ain't going to do it. Right?
Right.
And it's parenting at its finest. So.
I don't know what that had to do with. Anyway.
You asked me about lockdown.
I did indeed. I did.
You did, and you said, what
What's
did
the
you...
best thing?
Yeah, and I told you. But because I couldn't stop laughing. See, but I just went back to that question. Michael, can you tell me, what are your goals in the next 5 to 10 years?
I want to buy a house.
You want to buy a house? We want to buy a house so badly. We've been saving
For years.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Want to buy a house in Auckland, preferably.
Preferably.
Yep.
I just want to be a good husband and a good dad.
Okay.
Like, I have like career stuff.
Yeah, I want to know the career stuff. I already know that stuff.
I want to keep building in what I'm doing at the moment.
Okay.
Because it's kind of exciting in a way that there's opportunities to keep moving up. I want to help my kids achieve things for themselves.
Yep.
Like in their own lives, and they all have different little goals they want to be pushed in and be encouraged in and supported in.
What are your goals with this podcast? Where do you want this podcast to go?
I want this podcast to go global.
Global.
Yeah.
That's a great goal.
Yeah. Only because I think our stories are like worthy enough. And on a good enough.
And relatable as well. It's universal. A lot of these stories are universal. They relate to people in certain ways. Like my Auntie Anne talks about how Raina's podcast related to her.
Yeah.
And Auntie Anne is a lot more older, but very wise, very educated. And it's just amazing how I can relate to all of them.
You can relate to all of them.
All of them.
There we go.
All of them.
The different parts of them, eh?
Definitely.
Because they're all universal stories. They're all human stories.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. And that's the great thing about sitting down with people and talking to them. Like actually sitting down with people. Not posting a status and liking it. Or not sending a message over the internet. Hey, how are you? Heart it. Like it. React to it. Like, it's totally different to just sitting down with a person and talking to them, connecting with them.
But it's intimate, eh?
Very intimate.
Did you know this when I first brought the idea up to you, or not yet?
How intimate it would be?
No. That what you just said about the connection and
I knew how important it was because, especially with this day and age of social media, how important it is to have these kind of talks, as long as they may be. It's just so real. You know what I mean? And because I'm a parent and I want to.
But remember when you tell me, like, you think like, oh, some of them are too long. That's too long.
Yeah.
But then we'd put them out there and people would watch the whole thing.
Yeah, because I don't
know.
But
once you get into listening to them.
Yeah, but I've listened to podcasts like that too, that are very long. And I just sit there and listen to it. But I guess
you get sucked into it, eh?
You do.
If it's a good conversation.
It is. And it's not like I didn't believe in your conversations either. Because we're starting out. You're kind of anxious about, are people going to listen to it? Are people going to watch it?
I never cared.
Yeah, well, I'm producer.
I know, but I never care. I never go.
I know you don't.
Because but I've always trusted that, like, there's an audience for it and it will find its own audience.
That's right.
Like, there will be people that only watch for like 5 minutes and tune out.
Yeah.
That's not my audience.
No, exactly. And, I've had people say, hey, I've had people talk to me and go, hey,
can you cut it down?
Can you cut it down? Or can you have specific questions? Or can you have more visual stuff to stimulate the eye? But that's not what this podcast is about. And if they don't get it, they're not the audience. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, I like to listen to podcasts, so I know what it's all about. I can sit and listen to a podcast all day. But I guess when you talk about that was just me being anxious when we've put out a project and going, oh my gosh, is it going to be good enough? Are we going to get listeners? That's what that was about. I feel
it in my gut. Like, after doing the conversations, I just knew, like, I could just feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then sometimes I feel it in my gut when I feel like it's long enough and I finish it.
Right.
When I'm talking to them.
Yeah.
Then other times I could feel like I've got more to give.
That's a gift. I feel like it is because I have no idea. I'm like, when is this going to end?
Right.
When do I say goodbye? Thank you for your time.
Whenever you want.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just like, do I do it now? I can't feel it. But that's the thing. Like, we can both say that with acting, we kind of know how a scene goes, right? And that's how I feel when I write. I can feel, for me, I'm not even I've just started writing, but that's how I know it's my thing. Because when I write, I feel it. I feel how it needs to go. I know how it should start off with it, where that needs to happen and this needs to happen. Like, I see it as a whole, and that's how you see a podcast. So I think it's a gift, and that's something that I need to nurture as a wife, and you need to embrace as a human, and give as a Tonga a gift. I don't know if I said it right, but it sounds pretty fancy, to people, because it's a great thing to listen to. And people receive it. If they relate to it, that's a gift, right?
People have within them their own taonga.
Yeah.
But if you can't bring it out of them, then it's no use. But like with every guest that we've had on here, I can feel like their story and their message. And
but their story's like obviously already living through what they're doing.
Yeah,
like a lot of your guests you've got on.
But them expressing it is a different way. Like how they talk about it and how they
exactly, because people relate to it. Yeah. Like, you see people that are like, hey, they're a rugby star, hey, they're a doctor, but hearing their journey, you can relate to it. And then when you hear that journey that you can relate to, you're like, wait a minute, I think I can do that.
I think it's when I was younger, right, and getting library books out, my thing was always autobiographies. I'd always go for like biographies of like people that I respected and stuff, and read them. Doing this podcast to me is quite similar. It's getting that biography in a short amount of time, that journey and stuff, the ups and downs. But it's up to me to extract that out of them, because people are not always going to sit down and be willingly just open up and give. No, everything.
Of course not.
It's up to you to try and figure out like their journey and like and push and take them through it and yeah.
It's a great thing. You're doing a great thing. So I congratulate you on that and your empty glass.
I'll fill it soon. Cheers.
Cheers. But I really don't have anything else to ask you, because I'm quite exhausted. Like, I actually want to go to bed now. How long have we been going for?
I don't know.
Very long time. Very long time in Nora's time. But it has been a good time. Yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
Is there anything that you wanted to say that maybe your listeners might want to have some questions that you can answer through your story or anything like that?
Yeah. If you guys got any questions, feel free to ask.
Do you have anything you want them to know about you, or that you feel like I haven't drawn out of you? Drawn out of you. What else do you want to talk about yourself that you think is just so fucking fantastic? I can't believe I just said the F word. But have I said that before in this podcast?
Many times.
Damn it. Our children can't listen to this.
There are many things, but there are many more episodes to come.
There are many more episodes to come.
I can't believe I just came up with that.
Well, I don't have anything more to say, but it's a pleasure to have you in my garage and to be my guest and me be a pretty pathetic host.
You're a great host.
Okay, thank you. I'll take that. Okay. But cheers to you, Michael, and here's to future podcasts to come and many more successes in life.
Cheers to us.
Oh, to us.
And our podcast.
Yeah, of course. I'm a producer. Cheers. That's my hyena laugh coming through after 3 glasses. Cheers. Thank you.
I think that was glass number 5. Okay.
It's in that mic called Mike. Yeah, Garage Drinks with Mike.